Hello, YouTube. I am Cherie Simmons, host, author, entrepreneur, educator, and again, the host of this podcast, Underneath the Hat. Welcome to season 4. So, our topic for this season has been Speak Over Yourself. And I've been, for the last couple of weeks, choosing songs that mean something to me or make me think of something, and then I share what it is that I can speak over myself and ultimately help you as well as we go through this journey called life. And so I first want you to make sure that you subscribe and like the YouTube page, Underneath the Hat Podcast. Check us out on all podcast platforms: Anchor, Overcast, Spotify, Apple, Google, Breaker, and Pocket Cast. Also, be sure to share, be engaged, post questions and comments. You can sow a seed if you like, using Cash App and Zelle. All right, and don't forget to check out my 2 books, Underneath the Hat, which is based on the podcast, and It's That Size for a Reason, My Journey Through Infertility. Both of these books are available on Amazon or wherever books are sold. All right, so we're winding down. What's today? February 10th. As I record this, and my mic is about to go out, child. Okay, let's see. All right, so it is officially February 10th as I record this. The day before, you're actually going to see it. And as I have shared in my previous episodes, this will be the final season of Underneath the Hat Podcast. My last episode will air on March 18th, 2023. So just a few more weeks left, and I will be moving on to new things to see what the Lord has in store for me and what He wants me to do next. So I'm excited. All right, so this week's episode is based on the song by Jamie Foxx and Neo, and it's called She Got Her Own. And it's basically about, it also includes Fabulous. It's basically about a woman who wants a man but doesn't need one. And it talks about how he likes the fact that she has her own things. And basically, it's a dedication to independent women. He says, I like her because she got her own. She don't need mine, so she leave mine alone. There ain't nothing that's more sexy than a girl that won't, but don't need me. Young, independent, yeah, she work hard. But you can tell from the way that she walk, she don't slow down because she ain't got time to be complaining. Shawty gon' shine. She don't expect nothing from no guy. She plays aggressive, but she's still shy. But you never know her softer side by looking in her eyes. Knowing she can do for herself makes me want to give her my world. Only kind of girl I want, independent queen working for her throne. I love her because she got her own. So I chose this song today because next Tuesday is Valentine's Day. And we have so many people that are in relationships, situationships, friendships, good ship, lollipops. It's a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of ships going on around. And so I wanted to speak to those that are in relationships and how things are different now. Like, I just ordered this book called We Over Me by Kadeen and Deval Ellis. Those who watch Sisters know him as, what is that boy's name? Is it Zach and Fatima? I think. Yeah, I think he's Zach. I don't really watch the show, but and then his wife Kadeen, they have a podcast called Dead Ass Podcast, and so they've written a book called We Over Me, and I was watching them on the Breakfast Club talking about the book and relationships. Now, I think this song by Jamie Foxx featuring Neo and Fabulous is prevalent now because the way that relationships operate has changed over the years. And I think we still have some people who are set in the antiquated way or the old school way of how relationships go, when the women and men nowadays are totally different. I was watching something on Instagram and this guy was explaining the difference between the family dynamic is based on money. And so he said during the slavery times you had, was it, did he start with slavery? I don't think he started with slavery. But I know when he talked about the industrial movement, you had a nuclear family where the mom stayed home and dad worked, but both of them were in the household. And now that we're in the computer age, everybody's single, mainly because the women now are making more than or the same amount of money as men. So over time, as we have improved in the way that we operate, the role of the woman has changed. So when we were growing up, or those that are older that are listening, your mom was in the household, dad went to work. Mom didn't have to work. Mainly because that was just the upbringing of that generation. And women didn't have the rights and the luxuries and the royalties that we have now. And so it was not common for a woman to be working or for there to be a single family home or single parent home. It was the wife was at home tending to the kids in the house, and the father came home and brought home the bacon, and she cooked it and served it for supper by 5:00 p.m. Now you have households where it's a single mother taking care of her kids, or in my case, you have a single woman who has no children, who makes a good amount of money on her own. And she does not really need a man in the household to help her with any of the bills because she can manage them on her own. And you have a lot of relationships that don't do well because you have people whose mindset has them thinking one way based on how they saw their parents or their grandparents. And so that dynamic that they've grown up with is what they come into their relationships expecting. And then you have the other partner in the relationship who comes with a totally different dynamic. And so instead of having a conversation and figuring out what dynamic is going to work for us, they end up butting heads, which can ultimately lead to divorce. And that was what happened in the case of my first marriage. He grew up with his grandparents, and dinner was on the table by 5:00. Only his grandfather worked. I came from a modern type family where my mom and dad were married, but my dad was home with us. He was on the LSC. He made sure we ate while my mother was at work. And then when we went to bed, he went to work. So I grew up seeing my mom work. He grew up seeing his grandfather work. And so when we came into our marriage at 23 and 25 years old, we only had what we saw in our minds. and we did not sit down or surround ourselves with people who could pour into us, that we need to set our own dynamic, come up with our own plan of what our household would look like. And so that was something that played into the divorce of, we had two different mindsets and ideas of what marriage was and what a household should look like. And instead of communicating about it, we butted heads. Now today, with me being able to sustain a household for going on 10 years now by myself, and being back out here dating and meeting new people, it has it's been interesting, because now I'm dating someone that's older, and his mindset is kind of sort of, I won't say antiquated, but we're pretty much on the same page as far as what we expect, but I can see where it could possibly be an issue for someone who isn't coming to the table with her own, or for someone who's not coming to the table with the same things that he has. And so I just want to encourage those that are out there to know that you don't have to feel ashamed about what you have or what you're working towards. The biggest thing is that you communicate what it is that you both want. You both are going to come to the table with your own mindset, your own idea of what you think a relationship is, what you think gender roles are, what you think a family should look like, because we do what we see. And so if you saw something in your household that differs from what your partner saw in theirs, you all need to come up with something that works for you. Do not live your life based on what you saw somebody else do, because you are two different worlds colliding, and you all have to try to make this work. And you need to do what's best for you. Keep people out your business. Keep people out your business. Keep people out your business. And do what works for you. And this song rings true, and that I want to be with somebody that I want to be with, not that I need. And I think that is the mindset of so many women today. We don't need you. We want you, because we can do it on our own, because we have our own. But it feels good to be able to be with somebody who appreciates what we have, what we bring to the table, and we can let our guard down and be ourselves and not have to be hard or the boss, because we have those roles every day at work. But to be able to just come home and be gentle and soft and be taken care of, and know that we won't be shunned or ridiculed or made to feel bad because of things that we have achieved. And so that's all we're looking for, is for someone who can recognize that we have our own and recognize that we're independent, but who also wants to be in an intra-dependent relationship with us, to where I'm independent, you're independent, but I don't always want to be independent, and you don't always want to be independent. So let's both split this role, split this responsibility, so that it's not all on one person's shoulders. And so that's what this song has shown me, that there are men out there that recognize and appreciate a woman that is independent and brings her onto the table, and recognizes that when I decide that I want to be with you, is because I want to be with you, not because I need to. And I'm going to end with this. I realized the difference between want and need. Thirst is a need because you need water. Hunger is a need because you need food. Once you get that thirst and that hunger fulfilled, there is no need. When I want my favorite drink, which is Pepsi, or I want my favorite meal, I will appreciate it more when I get something that I want, because it's not fulfilling a need that once it is taken care of, I have no use for it anymore. So to be able to want somebody means that I see something in you that piques my interest, that I'm willing to work towards, to keep and to appreciate, versus me needing you because you're giving me something that I lack. And then once you give me and fulfill my need, I don't need you anymore. And I don't appreciate you. I'm only appreciating you because you have something that I want or that I need. And once you've given me what I need, the appreciation diminishes. Whereas when it's something that I want, I'm going to work hard to get it. And by working hard to get it, I'm going to appreciate it. And so when someone tells you, I want to be with you, I don't need you, it's not always a criticism or a letdown. It just lets you know that they're going to work hard to keep what it is that you have in order to flourish it, to make it better. Because if they need you, once you fulfill that need, there's no use for you. So let's keep that in mind and make sure that we're communicating with each other what it is that we are thinking, so that we can be a team together and create our own dynamic of what we want our relationship to be. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in, and happy Valentine's Day. And I'm really excited because, happy Super Bowl Sunday to the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm rooting for them by default because my boo, that's his team. And who else are they playing, Lord Jesus, today? The Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles. So good luck to the Eagles and the Chiefs. And also on Super Bowl Sunday, and to Rihanna, who's doing the halftime show. That's the only reason I'll be watching. And on the 12th, which is Sunday, is also the 6th anniversary of my mentoring program, Young Ladies at All Times. So I'm excited. I get to celebrate 6 years of being an entrepreneur. So congrats to me. I'm excited about that. So again, enjoy you all's week and your Valentine's Day and your Super Bowl Sunday and any great days that you have coming up of celebration. You all deserve it. You're worthy. And make sure you celebrate you if no one else does. Don't forget to subscribe and like the podcast on YouTube, Underneath the Hat. Check us out on all podcast platforms: Anchor, Overcast, Spotify, Apple, Google, Breaker, and Pocket Cast. Also, be sure to share the link with other people and check out my books, Underneath the Hat, and It's That Size for a Reason, on Amazon and wherever books are sold. And as I say at the end of every episode, as I wind down 4 years of this podcast on March 18th, remember to take care of yourself underneath the hat. I'll see you soon.